This segment of Open Up is brought to you in part by Abetaweed, the locally owned company that has everything you need for lush, weed-free gardens and lawns, from the smallest backyards to the property of the biggest businesses, and with top quality equipment and products better than the big chains, and they service what they sell. Located on Rosedale Highway, just east of Callaway, across from the promenade. Be loyal, buy local, Abetaweed.com. Danny and Bella, right from Hawaii, here to Bakersfield.
Yes.
Aloha. Thank you, Danny. We're going to have you on in just a bit.
Yes.
We are very excited to be talking with two men that are involved in a movement to stop the violence, to draw young people into positive activities.
Don, it's exciting to hear about this, and there's so much more. We just can't get it in all at this time, but let's hear more from them. Isaiah Crumpton, talk to us, please.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. Also, I think one point is very important that a normal chess set, most of our youth will walk right past it, but if they see the urban characters on our board, they stop and ask, "How do you play this?"
Rather than knights and bishops and pawns, let's turn this toward the camera. You've got guys in hoods, and tell us about how you invented the characters for this chess game.
Well, we wanted to make it interesting for our kids. We wanted to have something that was fun to play, plus they would learn the ills of getting involved with in street gangs. We wanted them to see that when a pawn gets taken off the board, that the baller or the hustler or the castle doesn't come after it. We wanted to refresh their memory and let them know that, from our experience, that we've never been to court and seen someone get up and say, "Hey, that was my homie. I'll do half that time for him." We wanted to show them the ills of getting involved in criminal activity or street gangs. We wanted them to see and learn how to play chess, and at the same time learn the ills of getting involved in street gangs or activities.
So chess with a whole different cast of characters.
Whole different cast.
Amazing.
We're trying to point our youth back toward their real families and their real moms, their real uncles, their real, that's where they should be building up and fostering love and concern and care and hope and understanding.
Isaiah, what do you do when it's the family itself that's the problem, that's in dysfunction and parents are on drugs, and what then?
We try to help them with an extended family, and we'll be their family until we can. We'll be family for them until we can get them plugged in to some type of structured, someone that could help them. We also want to thank Performer. They've been doing a lot of work with us in building the manufacturing and building the app. We have an app also that Anthony wants to talk a little bit about.
Okay. And just to tell our viewers, Proforma is a local marketing company here in Bakersfield, a wonderful company.
Okay, yes. Proforma helped us with putting together an app that's allowed to be on Android and also on the iTunes, and you can download it on your iPad or Android tablet. I'm trying to think. I was caught up the urban chess game.
Okay.
That's where you would go to on your Apple Store or your
The iTunes?
iTunes.
Okay.
iTunes.
Well, hats
Amazon.
off to whoever
And Amazon
developed
as well.
this, because it's very
Yes,
handsome.
isn't it, Don?
It's just beautifully done. At the highest professional level, it's a wonderful package. A question: one of your key strategies, as it were, to really make this take hold here in Bakersfield and across the nation is in the schools. And educators can be wisely cautious. Sometimes they can just be bureaucratically resistant to anything new. What are you finding as to the response of those who are leading our schools, what they think about this program and bringing it into the classrooms?
So far, so good. Just by looking at the characters, sometimes a person would think glamorizing or that we're, and that's just the opposite. We want to show our kids pass by little homies every day. they pass by hustlers and ballers and different people in the community. So we need to be realistic in our approach to addressing the ills of gang violence and giving our kids a chance to understand before they have to hands-on. They could play it out on the board. They don't have to play it out in real life.
Wow.
So
Can you give us some life examples of young people who've been caught up in this and learned to play and the impact it's had on their thinking, on the way they approach their lives? Tell us about that.
Well, I had an incident, I guess, and sometimes people said, you should have videotaped it. A young man, we were at an event that is here in Bakersfield when they get all the seniors together from different high schools over at the Rabobank Center, and they have different companies there and speakers to talk to the young people about having a goal, picking out an occupation to work toward that. So anyway, we had a booth up, a Caught Up booth, and a young man came by, and we were explaining Caught Up, and we were flipping the cards, and we were reading the cards to one another and discussing about the flip cards. So to make a long story short, I was at a store and I was coming out, and this young man in a shirt and tie walks up to me and he said, you might not remember me. He said, but you were at this expo, or you were down at the Rabobank. He said, you were flipping the cards of your game that you had, and I was getting ready to graduate and I haven't made a decision of what I was going to do after graduation. He said, today I graduated.
Oh.
And he graduated from one of the extended high school programs that they have because he had
Right.
gotten in trouble. He said, by flipping those cards and we discussing the things on the card, it made me decide to make a decision. So I made a decision to go into the Navy so I can have build on a career through the Navy to help me, so I can help my family. And he told me thank you, and everybody was saying, you should have recorded that. I said, I didn't think to record that. So it was just one of the things that's what we really want to see the game have an effect in the young people's life. And and just those moments when somebody will come, you know what, this was in my school and it had an impact.
Yes.
I was going to go to the left, and then I found out the left wasn't the right way, so I turned right and I kept straight, and now I'm going to a positive direction of going to college and finishing college and going towards this occupation.
Yes.
Now, it's called Caught Up, the intervention game. Maybe I missed it. What was the meaning of the Caught Up? Why that title for this game?
Well, we want to get our youth caught up in understanding, in learning, and caught up in positivity, and not caught up in the other. I call it foolishness. I come from a spiritual background, a Christian background, so I call it foolishness, and begin to understand that life is serious, and think before they move, and every move counts.
Wow.
And so if they learn a game of strategy, I think a lot of times also our kids don't socialize enough. We got too many electronics in front of them, and we'll stick a Apple device in their hand so they'll be quiet, or just and we let them sit in a room and play games for hours and hours on time, and that socialization, that one-on-one across the room matching wits is not there. So this game helps them to socialize with someone else, match wits with someone else, and become better as they go. Each game they become a little bit better at chess. And we also want them to know that they control that side of the board, that everything on that side of the board is their responsibility. And so it is in life, that they can't blame other people. Everything that they do, they're the king on this side, and every move they make is their responsibility. So we want to teach them that.
Well, chess back to
Excellent.
Persian times has always taught how to face life and deal strategically with things. You mentioned the young man that went into the Navy. I remember reading the book Making the Corps by Thomas Ricks, a fantastic book, but it was about kids that come out of the hood and go into the Marines, and 8 weeks into that training, they look back on what they've come from, and they realize that their culture was the enemy. Their culture, their own culture, was the enemy, and that's what they had to break free from and come out of.
That sounds right. You know, being a Navy veteran. Oh yes, coming from South Carolina, and I knew I had to get out of town, get out of that environment and that area, and the Navy was the place for me.
Well, you know, there's things that young people can get involved in, like the ROTC. They got the Junior Marines, stuff like that, and there's even other things other than that. But some of these young people don't know that those avenues are there for them that can be a gateway for them to have success. So.
Okay.
Well, we want to let the world know about what you're doing. I think we have a full screen, do we not?
Yes.
That people can reach these good men, Stop the Violence Movement, Inc., and there's the phone number. And I just know there's a lot of folks out there in other cities that would be very interested in this and being part of that and watching this ignite and spread across the nation.
Yes.
661-747-747, 661-747-4661. We're so proud to have you on our anniversary, first anniversary edition of our show.
you for having us.
We're so proud of
Thank
what you're
you.
doing, and we hope that this little show in some way will just help ignite what you're doing and see this spread like wildfire and really
Yes.
help redeem an entire generation back to their very best, not their very
Yes.
worst.
Hey, oh, man.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Isn't that good? So we'll take a break.
And when we
And-
come back, we got good words for the coming word. Really good
Bob
words for you.
Prater.
All right.
Home by Lennar. Your family.